My YouTube channel is Kathy Weller Art. I go live here on YouTube every day at around 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern Time. I create hand-drawn art live from blank page to finished, so you can watch and learn new techniques, see my process, listen to my thoughts in real time as I'm going through them, and ultimately hang out and have some coffee and get a little inspiration for your day. I also go live at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, and I do a quiet live, so you can just watch and you can check out my techniques as I go. And there's no talk, but you can chat because I do have my chat up. So if you have any questions at any point, you can always ask, and I will do my best to look over at my screen and see if anybody has any questions. So today we're going to do a simple but fabulous lemon. And I'm just going to put my little lemon right there. No, I'm going to put my little lemon right here. So I have a few different ways to draw it today, but let's just start with the Neocolor 2s. So I have 6 colors. I have a greenish yellow, a real lemon yellow. These are not the actual colors of the Neocolors, by the way. This is a lighter yellow. I think this one is called Sahara yellow. This is a metallic blue, but it really doesn't pull metallic at all. It pulls kind of like a gray blue. This is more of like a burnt umber type of a color. And then this is just a very neutral, almost black, not quite black. This will be good for, you know, outline, shadow. Cheers. So Neocolors typically come in a longer form, such as this. But to me, there's so many things you can do when you have them in little pieces like this. You can just use them in so many different ways. And I want to do that today. So I'm just going in with my Neocolor, and I'm just going to outline my lemon, and I'm drawing from life. So here's my lemon right there. There's a shadow under it. I'm just gonna use the side of my crayon, and I'm just going in with the regular yellow, and I'm just finding the outer line by pressing on the outer tip part and allowing the inner part of my length of my crayon to give me like a fade, basically. So I'm just working on my shape, just following the shape of the lemon with my crayon. Now I'm using my right hand. I'm a lefty, but let's just make it work. And then we have, just trying to get right there, making a marker for myself. Do a little marker because I, like most, or maybe a lot of people, I don't know about most, but you know, I don't have like perfect right angle brain. So I'm just going to use my right hand again because why not? It's here. And I'm a lefty, but that's okay. I love drawing lemons because they're just so, there's so many little bumps. And hello, blue collar boys. Thank you. Appreciate you. Just gonna draw my little lemon here, and then I'm actually going to use so now I have my outline of my lemon and a little bit of the inside. I'm going to use this odd choice, but color theory. I'll explain. I have this blue metallic Neocolor I'm going to use for the next step because I don't want to go full on black or almost black. I'm not there yet. I'm still defining the shape, right? So lemons have they're three-dimensional and they have different planes. And I mean, if you really look at a lemon, you see there's like convexity here, and then there's like a sort of a flat, and then another one. So if you looked at it and you thought of it as like a wireframe, it would be like that, right? So there's different shapes. Thanks, Blue Collar Boys. Oh, please do subscribe if you like what you're seeing. So this is a blue metallic, and the reason I'm using this is because it's not, it's also kind of a neutral. It's like, I'm just going to start using it now. It's kind of a, it's like a cool neutral. It doesn't pull metallic when you're using it. These are Caran D'Ache Neocolor 2. And now I'm just sort of going to outline what I'm doing. So this works in like a shadow as well as for, you know, detail. But we have other colors that we can pull in later, but this is more of like a neutral, even though I know it's blue, but it works for this because it's not too warm. And shadows are cooler. Even if I'm seeing on my lemon, my shadows look like they might be kind of warm, but they're ultimately, you know, I can warm it up later. I like using the cooler piece here because it allows me to get some tonality, but not overwhelm with a warm, because warm is going to sort of pop out and cool is going to recede. So that is the whole thinking behind that. And visually, I'm very intuitive with how I do this. So like some of the choices I make. So now I'm just sort of shading where I'm seeing the planes of sort of flat. And there are flat planes, sort of flat on this lemon, but they come and go. So I'm just sort of following what I see on my lemon. And then there's one right here that's sort of like this. So it's kind of fun to use these and use the sides of them to do more work for you. So if I'm looking at the side of my lemon and I see this part here and how it's sort of, there's like a stop here, and then there's like a spot where you just see, it's not really flat, but you know, for our purposes, it's like, it's flat, in that I could add like a contrast right there to show that that's where the plane changes right there. That's what I'm doing with this. And so we're going to do a little bit over here too. And then we're going to do a little on the bottom. So like what I was saying before, how there's, you know, it's obviously a round. It's round. However, it also, if you look real closely, you can see if this was like, if there was like a wireframe, you know, those things you put on your head that it's like a wire thing and it massages your scalp like that. If this was one of those wire things, you could see this would be like a wireframe around the lemon. So we have like one little convex line here, one here, one here, and they go all the way around. And you can see that it's sort of the structure of the lemon. So let's follow that a little bit with this. Oh, we're drawing this one. Oops. And then I want to do the bottom of it because there's one that goes right along the edge there, like that. And then we have some little reflection because the lemon's it's not glossy, but it's also not completely matte. It's sort of like this satin finish, and it has little bumps all over it. So let's go in with the lighter. Speaking of the reflection, I'm going to go in with this one, which is, it's a lighter. I'm going to clean it off. This is how I clean off my tiny little pieces of crayon. Oh, these are water soluble as well, so you could use water with them if you want to. You don't have to. And my fingers are kind of dirty, so I'm trying to wipe them off. They're a little bit dirty from the metallic blue, so just trying to make sure that it's clean, because I'm going to go in with lighter parts, and I don't want to, even though there's already blue on my lemon, but I want to have my crayon sort of clean. I go in there. And we could go into this with a water brush, and I wasn't really planning on doing that today. I'm trying to really pare down what I'm using, so it's just much more easygoing to follow, because I do tend to throw a lot of materials at my art, and I want to just do it with a few simple ingredients. So even though I have these 6 colors, I'm probably not going to use all of them here. I'm probably just going to use a few of them. So far we've used these 3, just to show you that a lot can be done with a little. So I am going to bring this guy in now. This is like a terracotta color, and it's very pigmented, and it's a very warm neutral, right? It's like a brown, a little orange. I mean, I guess it's not really a neutral, but you can use it in the space. You can use it along with your neutrals to add. So I'm going to use this to define the edges, and maybe we're going to even go in and make a little, sometimes lemons have these little marks on them, right? These little brown marks, and then something like that. And also, if you really look at the shadow, you're going to see there's some warmth in there. And sometimes, and this is color theory, right? Like things look different when you put them against a different background. So in some lights, this might look like the shadows are cooler, and sometimes they will pull warmer. So anyway, that's neither here nor there right now, but let's keep moving. So when I put this brown over that blue metallic one, it gives a real nice depth. See, look at that. So if I'm just careful with my placement with this, I don't even need a black or a darker neutral to draw my outline. So this one can do a lot of heavy lifting for me, because I can make the little marks that you see in a lemon. I can make like those little divots, and I can make that, it gets banged up at the store, or like if it's on the vine, you see it has these little marks. I'm going to pull you down a little bit and see if that helps get a little closer for you. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Ooh, that makes it hard for me to see what I'm doing. Let's do there. So I usually come on in the morning and do a different type of a video, but I'm mixing it up. I'm trying different things to see what people like. And so today we're trying a little lemon. I love lemons. I mean, I love to eat lemons, but I love, or to use them in beverages and food, but I really love them as a I love them as a subject to draw. It's definitely one of my go-tos. So these are like the little marks that you see on lemons. No lemon is perfect. And let's do that. Now you can see the lemon subject that we're doing. I'm going to define the edge over here too. I think I'll use my blue again too. A little bit. And I'm just pulling more shadow in here. A little at the top because my light is coming from there. So I have some shadows over here and I have some shadows here underneath coming from that direction. So following my shadows. And also just following the shape of my lemon. And lemons are interesting too because you think it's an oval, but it's really like, it's oval, but it starts a little heavier on this end where it's attached to the tree, and then it actually does get thinner down to the tip. So kind of nuanced, but there's usually like a little pop. So if this is the part where that's attached to the tree, like that, it's a little bit poppy up here, the top here. Just trying to get the shape, how it pops out, and then we get a little more and I'm going to draw some of those little dimples, or not dimples, they're kind of like, they're like we have pores, and you can see them a lot on the highlighted part of your lemon. And this white part, that wherever you can see the white paper, where I left it white, that's where our highlight is. That's where the light is hitting. I think I like it. I think I like it this. Oh, okay, that part was an accident. So now we're going to draw the shadow under the lemon. So I have a paper bag lining my table, which I like to use because then I can clean my pens off, or whatever I'm using, I can just sort of write it. So I constantly am changing it out with a new paper bag. I suppose I could get a roll of that big white paper, but I don't. I use paper bags mostly for that. So the shadow on this side is wider and thicker, but also more diffused. And then the shadow right below it is pretty deep. And I have not used any black. I'm just using this terracotta, this metallic blue, and these two yellows. One is kind of a true lemon yellow, and the other one is a lighter, creamier yellow, like a Hansa yellow, or I think they call it Sahara yellow, the Neocolor. people that the Neocolor company who makes them. These are Neocolor too. The company's called Caran D'Ache. So these are getting too warm for me to hold in my hand without melting all over the place. Should we add some water? Thanks, Blue Collar Boys Fishing. I appreciate it. I have my water pen right here. Let's see. It's a water. Oh. Oh, it looks like. Ooh, I think this one is actually the non-water soluble version because it looks like it's not dissolving. But if you see over here, I will show you. Here's all my Neocolors, and I'm just going to add a little water. And now you can see. See? They're water soluble. So I'm going to add some water and mix up. So there's our lemon, and we're good. Let's draw a lemon with a pencil now. This is just an HB pencil, and just gonna follow my shape. And I'm gonna be just making some markers for the size and making sure that my elements are in the right spot. So the tip is here. Sometimes you do this and you take your pencil or whatever object that you have that is straight, and I can see that my tip is here, and then it starts a little bit lower than that. So This is the darkest part of what I'm seeing here. So I'm just drawing the shadow. So the pencil, what's guiding me is line and value. So I don't have to think about color. And I don't even have to think about tone of the color. I just have to think about the values and the space and the shape and the line. For any art supply you have, whether it's a pencil or anything, use any part of it that you want. So if you want to use the tip, use the tip. You want to use the side, use the side. Whatever works for you. And I like pencil because it really allows you to focus in on the details and I really like that. And take color out of the equation. I think it's easy to get in some ways distracted by color and then to not, focus on the foundational things like, shape and space and all the drawing elements. And drawing is it's so important to practice. Drawing is such a foundational skill and it takes practice, but you can do it. You just have to have the eye-hand connection and learn how to see things in a way that's going to assist in you getting it onto the paper. What questions are you asking yourself and how you're approaching your drawing. And now I'm going to work on the different planes of the value. And I'm going to work on where I'm seeing the value shift. So there's a light source right there. There's a highlight, so I'm going to avoid that. But it's not a perfect shape because the surface of my lemon is not perfect. But right along this ridge here, it's light. So that's all highlight. And then we have some highlight here. And then we have some highlight here too, right here. And then different parts of the deeper values, you can see the shape based on how the values present themselves. And even like right here, it's lighter because there's light that is, I think it's reflecting off of the paper. And there's also a light source right there. And then remember earlier in the live when I was talking about if you had one of those metal things like that go over your head and massage your head, and that was the shape of a lemon, it was like a wireframe. I'm seeing that like here. You can see parts where it's like flat, flat, flat. It's like it's curved, but there's sections that look like, you know, they were carved of wood, sort of. And there's this whole part that is sort of a mid value, and then it gets dark right over here. This is like a scar that's on the lemon. And here's another scar. This is a scar too. Okay. Okay, for the last exercise, we just drew that one, but I want to go back. And I want to draw this like a map of light, dark, and convexity and concavity. So when I say convexity and concavity, I mean convex is pushing out and concavity is recessed. So this is convex, and then this is concave. this part here. Like going in is a concave. Going out, that's convex. So let's do one more. And we're going to do, can we fit it on this page? It would be nice if we could, but I don't want to shove it on there. So let's turn the page. Maybe we'll do two more. I was thinking maybe the last one can be super loose. But here's the lemon. So I'm going to put it there. Put it up there. Right there. All right. No, I need a little space in between my paper and the lemon. So now I'm going to draw my lemon, and I'm going to do shape and convexity and concavity. So that's, I'm going to draw my shape. So you have this little part here, and then that, and then this is like the widest part is like here. And then so and I like to make a little mark of where the lemon meets the actual table. So that's like my point of contact. Now we have this little end with our little coffee. Okay, so now we have our general shape of our lemon, rather, not lime. All right, so now let's do where we see the light. And this is just a little exercise that will help to see let's just find all the spots where there's highlight. And we're going to do it like a cartographer's map. And then there's a little bit down here. This is just like a seeing exercise. Show you how to see what to look for. I'm just circling little spots where I'm seeing light hit. And then we're going to go out. And then there's a little bit of light here, and then there's a little bit of light. So they kind of connect. And there's really no wrong, there's no like wrong way to do it. Or, you know, like if we were in a room and you were doing this, there's no judgment. It's really just what you're perceiving and what you're seeing and how you're seeing the light. So I also see a little bit of light here, because now you're starting to see the real darker parts, and those are starting to pop out. Because even all the way down here, it's not the darkest dark all the way down there. I think my darkest dark is here, but there's light up here. This is light here, and my lightest light is probably like here and here and up here. So there's a little darks in here too. So now on the same picture, let's find our darkest. Not looking at the table, because the table is the darkest dark, because even though it's a white paper bag underneath here, I can see the shadow right there, and the shadow is really the darkest part. So obviously the little tip is darkest. This is darkest. So I'm just going to color in. I'm going to do the same thing now, but color in where my darkest darks are. My darkest darks. Sometimes it helps to squint, just to shrivel up your eyes a little bit. And then that helps you to see the lights and the darks a little better. And the darks here are not like super dark, but they're the darkest darks on my lemon. So I'm just gonna color those in. And then this is a dark here. One of the darkest darks is here. And do that. And if you guys like this style video, where we're looking at all these different things and learning, let me know in the comments, because this is new for me. Like, I did not pre-plan this. I haven't done another video like this, but if you like this, let me know and I will do more like this. I'm trying different things to see what people like. And I would love your support. If you want to give me a subscribe, if you want to like this video. I also do a quiet live at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, so just a short time after this one. If you want to come and watch, and I'm not talking during that one. So, and then if I look at just the edge, I'm seeing dark right here, and I'm seeing dark here, and there, just right on the edge of where the light was, right? And then over here, right on the edge again of where, actually there's a little bit of fade, and then you get the light. But and then also, interestingly, there's some dark. Now I'm getting into a little bit of lighter parts of the dark, but if I'm still looking at what the dark parts, the darker values, it's one of the things that's so great about pencil. It just takes the color out of the equation, and you can just focus on the line and the value. I love that. I really do. And some of the most beautiful art is just pencil. So this is like a swath here, this piece here, it's like that. And then I think I'm getting too nitty gritty over here, because we got like here, there, and then this part here, we got that. So you see like all these different, this here, this little thing that's sticking out is that's the that part. So that's that. So we're good. So this was like a value exercise, little map. With convexity. Looks like a heat map. All right, one more. One more. Now we're going to do loose. We're going to loosen it up. We're just going to do loosey-goosey. A loosey-goosey. Can you see here? Let me push this up a little bit. And I do that. And then I will do it here. So, ooh, what do we want to draw with now? I know. Everybody has a ballpoint pen, right? How do you feel about ballpoint pen? These pens are really cool because they are 0.7 in the tip, which makes it very, very thin and a little like pointy. And I love that. Let's draw our lemon with just a ballpoint pen. So I'm just going to make some markers again with my eyeballs and my hand and the connection. And I'm going to map it. So when I do these little dots, I'm just mapping things out. I'm just mapping out. And if you need to measure, if you want to see how things line up so you can draw them more accurately on your paper, it's nice to take your instrument and you can hold it and you can measure that way. So when I look at my lemon, one tip, say my tip is here, and then the other tip is actually up here because the point of contact with the table is a little bit closer down here, so it's a little bit angled. So let me stand up and see if I did that up here or not. It's not really clear, but I will say, even if it doesn't make it that way to your paper, if you're feeling it when you draw it, like, that's fine. You know what I mean? Because it's not really that big of a difference, but so I'm just doing the outline and trying to find the shape. And it's kind of like that. It's like that. Like it's higher here than it is here. And then it's wider right here. And then it's a little bumpy. And in some of my lives, I'll stand and draw, but I'm drawing from that lemon right there. So I'm not going to do that because that changes my perspective. And I don't want to change my perspective right now, even though, you know, it's not going to be accurate to life 100%, and that's fine. I'm not really a life, you know, realistic drawing expert. Well, I hate to say that because I've drawn from life my whole life, so I do have, you know, expertise in that, but it's not really my forte, if you know what I'm saying. It's not like what I do, but I do enjoy it. It's a really fun and good, it's like a good brain exercise, you know? So remember what I was saying about like the wireframe over a lemon like this, and you can see the different planes of it? I want to draw where I'm seeing that here. And then there's also like a plane here and here, like around, because it feels like somebody carved it out of wood. If you look at it, if you look at our little lemon, it looks like it's carved from wood. kind of doing something similar to what I did before, but looser. So we're just following our lemon shape of it, the dimensions of it with the pen, and just drawing what we're seeing here. It's a little bit continuous line drawing going on here, but I am picking up my tip every now and then. It's not leaning completely on any certain method. I'm just following what my lemon is telling me to do here. I may have called my lemon a lime a couple times. If I did, I apologize. You know what I meant, right? All right. Thanks for coming. Oh, where's our other lemons? There they are. We did a Neocolor lemon. Life drawing. We did a pencil drawing. Pencil sketch. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 3, number 3, and then number 4. Lastly, let's do one more. I really want to do just like a really loose, I want to do a really loose washi, not washi tape, a loose washi lemon. I want to do a loose washi lemon. I'm going to do it at the bottom here, right here. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, lemon there. Let's just go in with this is my gold brush pen, and it's just fun to draw with. It's fun to have some materials that are just, you find new uses for them, you find different ways to use them. This is These are pretty much, I think they're like marketed for brush pen calligraphy. I like to draw with them too. They're fun to draw with. Let's do that. Can you squeeze out some ink? Put some lime. Just finding my darks. And I'm going to add a little bit of water. Let us use the addition of the brush, the water pen. Just move things around a little bit. You have the darkest. See, my pen is not, it's kind of squeezing out my ink. There's some dark parts where the rubber meets the road, right? That is a dark part right there. Let's do some lines here. There we go. We got Gestural Water Brush Lemon. Number 5, Gestural Water Brush. Hey, thanks for coming today. Hope you guys have a great day. I will be back at 12:30 with a live that is quiet and relaxing to watch. Okay? Have a great day. Bye.